You learn by like trial and error, like technical issues. Like, so you got to make a plan A, plan B. You got to work really quick just to make sure the show goes on. So I feel like I've learned a lot. Every single show, there's something to learn from and from everybody.
I'm Sean Bose, concert visual designer in Los Angeles, California. Today, we're talking to Bethany Mudrick. Bethany is a VJ based in Los Angeles, good friend of mine. You've seen her work with artists like 12th Planet, Kill the Noise, Night Stalker, and on festival stages like EDC's Stereobloom and many others around the US and the world. She recently became the newest PM on the Immanent team. We love Immanent, helping to manage and lead their team of VJs on projects moving forward here. I'm excited to chat with her and her little danger noodle, Horchata Negra, about her quick rise to proficiency over the last few years and the lessons that she's learned along the way. Bethany, thanks for being on the show.
The pleasure.
So, I usually like to start these things talking about the early days, but I'm going to switch it up a little bit because you just recently at the end of the year got this promotion into sort of a new role in the Immanent team after working with them for just a few years, and you led one of your first projects over New Year's Eve. How was that experience? Tell us about New Year's Eve.
So I had the privilege to PM Forever Midnight in Las Vegas. So that was pretty cool. Like a techno house vibe and some cool artists there. And I got to work with Katie and Sab. I'm sure you're aware of them. And they did a really good job and not hard to manage, to be honest. And it was a good little festival. Got to work alongside Drew on stage, which is always fun. So he's using Notch Live, his little particle twist. And along with Forrest and everybody else just there doing the countdown moment. It was beautiful. And I couldn't ask for a better festival for the first time for that.
Yeah, it seemed like a really fun event and a really cool team to get to work with on that one. Did you guys run into any challenges along the way, or was everybody just kicking ass and taking names the whole time?
We were kicking ass, taking names. I will be honest, like we used a new camera package we never used before for like Immanent. So we had like these Sony cameras, those big like heavy duty ones. So they were in a bunch of road cases. So we had to make sure to have those all organized and like telling where to go here, where to go there, and just kind of operating with this equipment I never had before. So it was a little bit nerve-wracking for me, but we were able to kind of like, hey, look at this, put this together. Our techs were really amazing, so the Akari guys always on it. We made it happen. We had 3 different cameras. We had the Sony ones, and we had the Marshall up front. So it was a nice little run to use with like we used notch effects, and then also like some Resolute camera looks that we made just to fit the techno vibe. So it was really cool to mix with the content, and or just have by itself. It was a vibe for sure.
You said they're not super tough to manage. You, Sav, and Katie are pretty good homies. The girl squad. What are the benefits of having a team like that that's like super tight and works together well and is good friends like that? Like you guys are hanging out before the show. What's that all like?
I think the trust factor, I know like what they're capable of already. Like we have that like bond and so we're programming together. I feel like we're always like on the same page. It's not like confusion and like, we just know, we vibe, like we can understand, like communicating. We're able to like get a message across to each other, execute these looks or the themes or the vibes. My favorite time is programming time with them. Like we all like just hang out and sit on our computers, nerd out to music. So, I mean, any of these adventures are amazing because we're all like kind of like-minded and it's like we're girls. So it's, and I love the guys too, but it's a magical feeling with the girls, I feel, and we're just trying not to make a movement, but like, hey, we're badass too. And, we're doing the damn thing. We're hustling, getting shit done.
Hell yeah, definitely. You guys are all kicking ass. It's awesome. What was life like before you discovered the magical world of VJing? What was going on? Tell us about the moment that you discovered this world existed?
So I was always kind of in the nightlife, and I lived in the high desert. So like I was like a bartender for a long time. Like I was going to college. I got like my bachelor's degree in psychology. So it's like, oh, it's not even relevant to what I'm doing now, but doing that nightlife as a bartender. So always involved with like the music, entertainment, a new mom. So like, my son's going to be 4 now, but just like full-time mom life. And I did a lot of DJing, like underground drum and bass DJs. So the scene like down there in LA, or a lot of the desert renegades. And this actually leads into my VJing life. So
yeah, let's dive in. Desert Renegade.
Okay. Desert Renegade. So camp trip. So a lot of like geeks and a lot of the production team, like Brandon, Kit, like they have the Rhino bus. So I had the honor to do like a sunrise set on the Rhino bus for like drum and bass, kind of like liquidy, kind of a little bit heavy, just kind of going with the mode. And like Gio is there, and like Mario. So like after my set, I'm like, hey Gio, what's up? And I see Mario in the corner, and he's like super quiet. So I'm poking at him like, hey, like, Mario, what's up? It's a good set, So I hung out, singing out with everybody, and they had built an actual like stage out there in the Renegade. So it's like probably got a stage wall and a couple of panels. And Bunny, Rabbit on the Moon, he was like doing like a set, and they're like, I'm hanging out with Mario, and they're like just like pushing these buttons and like this little MIDI controller. I'm like, what is this? Like looking at the wall, like, are you controlling that wall? Like that's pretty sick. And he's like, yeah, like push the buttons. So I'm just like pushing buttons. I'm like strobing and stuff. I'm like setting up clips, like trying to go to the beat. And it's such a magical moment because like the fireworks are going off. I'm like, dude, it's like in the middle of the desert, right? So I'm like, dude, whatever this is, like teach me. Like I want to know. I'm like, yeah, like I'm a VJ. I'm like, this is a thing now. Like, and so we hung out for a few months. Like he showed me the ropes. Like I started out with like warehouses, or at Catch One there's like the noise room. So did some like shows like that, and like kind of spectated with Immanent for like the full year, just kind of watching how you guys like set up and break down, and like learning the do's and don'ts of VJing. And after that, like Drew was like, yeah, let's put her on. My first one was actually Countdown in Orlando, and it was like 2022. So that was my first official gig, and I picked up on it so well, and I was so eager to learn, and like, here I am now.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, 2 years, like two professional years,
Yeah, that's wild. That's crazy to think about. It feels way longer than that. But I think that's just because you're that good. It seems impossible that it's been that short of a time. There are obviously a few things that have contributed to your ability to grow and learn so quickly. I think I can name a few of them. I think if you want to jump in and name a couple too, but I think that like hearing in this story, your music background in the first place probably helped you to catch on a bit. Understanding DJing and VJing aren't super different, Yeah. They can be, but the musical timing and pushing buttons.
Yeah.
Also spending, a year of time around people like Romario and the rest of the Immanent team in environments like EDC and these club shows and things.
Yep.
How did one of those help you out in your growth process over the years? Were those things important, or is there something else that was important to your learning process?
I think starting out like doing like the house VJ gigs, like I come across so many like guests, like Shane from Svdden Death. Like he's somebody that stood out to me when I was starting out, like Audiotistic. I think we worked that one together. So just kind of watching these techniques and like how people set up, or like their different equipment, or like show control, time coded stuff. Like I was very observant, and I feel like each person I encounter asking questions, or like, how do you do this? How do you do that? Watching the mapping, or like polygons, like stage flow, stuff like that. I feel like each house gig, I was able to learn and develop, or even starting off on like Stereobloom, something that's so complicated, so many slices, like just going into these stages, and then you kind of just like learn as you go. Or show control, like doing 12th Planet, like his whole show is like time coded, so I had to learn that in within 2 months to pick up that show and just go. And you learn by like trial and error, like technical issues, like so you gotta make a plan A, plan B, you gotta work really quick just to make sure the show goes on. So I feel like I've learned a lot just from every single show. There's something to learn from, and from everybody.
You brought up observing people at house gigs. What makes being a house VJ a good environment for learning, and what are you looking for when you're observing? Can you bring us into your mind when you're looking over someone's shoulder?
When I'm looking at just what they have basically for like their laptop and their gear, and like they have a bunch of stuff, or just bring out my Mac, like you can kind of tell like from the person, like you just see their vibe and like what they're bringing into the show, or like how much work they're trying to do beforehand. Like I've seen people just do stuff on the spot, like just not being like, dude, they're that good, or it's like, or shooting in XML, like some looks, like it's just really interesting to see each individual and like how they're doing it, and kind of just seeing like, or even how their composition or how their show file maybe, or even how they like MIDI their stuff, like everyone's very unique in what they do, especially in this job. There's like not one right way, but there's many wrong ways, but it's just kind of picking and choosing. Like I feel like that's cool, or I can pick up on that, or just seeing on the screen like how they operate, like blend modes or some stuff like that. Like it's just different kind of techniques or softwares or chasers. Like I just kind of see like all of these different ways you can make a show happen, or curating a specific set.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that's the cool thing about VJing is there really is no like right way to do it. So it's cool to see like everybody kind of made up their own way to solve this problem, and sure. And does like weird, unique things. Yeah, like we all we had to build our instrument, you know what I mean? So like you're like, ooh, that's neat. Why'd you put that on there? Oh, that like I do that, but I don't do it like that. Like, how are you making that work?
Yeah, for sure.
We all set up chasers different. We all set up things different. So it's really cool to make it your own thing, Yeah,
and kind of tinkering with stuff and then putting your own like taste to it,
Yeah. Yeah, my show, it's like I feel like my show file is like a collection of all the people I've been around over the years, right? Like I've stolen this from somebody, and I stolen that from somebody, and it just
like stole gradient look. There's some stuff like that.
It's mostly mine's mostly just for Mario. I just steal everything he does. I'm like, oh, that's fucking sick. Take. I do that now. No.
This is me now.
Yeah, you do this, I do this. But yeah, no, I love that. That's getting inspired by people, and that's why house gigs are sick, because you get to just see like 10 people come through your stage.
Yep.
Yeah, snake break.
Yeah, snake break.
Let's rewind a little bit. Before you were brought on to like Immanent team, Countdown, full-time thing, what were those first like early gigs like? What was that experience doing like Catch One gigs and things like that?
Yeah, so I mean, I have like some resident friends that like do like techno stuff. So I mean, I guess you could say truthfully, firsthand I learned techno, to VJ techno, and I know it's probably like the most difficult genre to learn, because like you have to have a real like finesse, like you have to have like a real taste for it. So it's like, cool, like, let's learn like the don'ts of VJing, or like using negative space, or like playing like a lighting guy and matching your colors, like all of this very, very specific for like the techno world. So those are some of my first gigs, and like this was me kind of new. So like I did have like some stock stuff, but I did kind of rip some like horror GIFs. Like these are just like a upstage wall art projection, so it's not like 4K, it's a tiny little room. But so I like played with like these horror clips, and actually the source codes that you made like those stock packs. So I'm like playing with those and then manipulating it with like some crazy gore stuff and this like hard technos going on in the back. So that was like one of my first memorable like VJ gigs, and it's really cool. Like Romario was helping me out with that, but just being able to operate like on a wall was a beautiful thing for me. And just the vibe though, like I like that dark background, like I liked all that horror stuff. But dubstep for sure, starting off with that. We had like Observe come through, so like that's another like techno type vibe. So like I did a lot of those like smaller shows, and I think that's why I learned to VJ so well, or making sure to black out, or like giving lighting guide and laser guides their time, because like that was like I think those are like one of the crucial rules of VJing, make sure you black out.
Yeah. All right. So then how did you move from those gigs into getting some bigger and bigger and bigger gigs? Let's just keep moving along the timeline. What happened next after doing those early techno gigs?
So I mentioned an Observe show, and Drew actually like knew some like the DJs or management, so he would come by too. So he was actually seeing me work the wall, and while I was like starting out, he's like, well, like he had like really nice compliments for me. I'm like, dude, like I still do, but like I felt really jazzed that he had these opinions about me. And I think he just like, saw me VJing. Like there was an EDC Vegas where I just came through and I was like trying to help cart everybody around and like give everybody food. Like I just donated a lot of my time to like the team and stuff. And I think he just saw that I was a hard worker. And so that's why I feel like he put me on. And then like I was trained really well, like I said, like through Romario, like telling me like the do's and like the don'ts, and just like being very like specific about VJing and techniques. And I think that's how that opportunity came to me. Just being grateful to have like Drew be there physically and seeing me at first and noticing me work, and was like, that let's throw on, let's do it. Like obviously I started off like training, like I was on stage with like Jake. I was always with somebody, I wasn't alone, and I just kind of like asked questions, like learning to map and everything. So I mean, I felt like I took baby steps, but it was the proper steps to learn how to do this the right way, for sure.
Yeah, I think people might be curious. The Immanent crew is, I think, kind of unique. There's not a ton of like VJ crews out there that are like actual professional groups. I think there's only a handful of them. Can you give us some insight about how a crew like that works, and like what it's like to be on your first show and then kind of move up and get more and more responsibility and end up as a PM of a show? What are those maybe unspoken kind of levels and moments that you felt like you moved up through the ranks a little bit?
Like I said, just working hard, and like not, I'm gonna say like not half-assing shit, and really taking time for like pre-programming, or like working, like I can work day of or day before, but like I was kind of interested in like trying to get a show together like a week before, and make sure like whatever content we're given, actually study the content, study this theme, the aesthetic for like each artist, and like making sure that the show is curated specifically and uniquely, like every single one, or like how their logos are, or just feeling the vibe of the DJ with their content, or or if you use some stock stuff with it, making sure like shit matches, or like colors and all of that. So I just put a lot of like my time and consideration into like the pre-programming aspect, and just actually really asking a lot of questions, asking the right questions, and like learning the don'ts first. I feel like it was really important for me to learn the don'ts. Like obviously I'll like make mistakes, or there's some technical stuff, or like something that always arises, but like always knowing what like not to do. I even talked to the lighting guys, like, hey, like critique. Like I've asked when I started off everything, different point of views and critiques on like what would make this look better. How would you feel that this vibe or this theme is like really executed? So I honestly just asked a lot of questions starting out. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I asked not like the wrong or the right people, but like with the team, like just making sure, even Drew or even Ro or you or Jake, like I asked a lot of questions, but I just wanted to get a grasp of this quickly as possible.
Yeah. Let's talk about your first EDC, your first official working at EDC moment. How did that happen? What led up to that? And then what was it like? What were you feeling? What was going through your head?
EDC Vegas is probably one of like the most important fucking huge, like, holy shit, like this is happening, this is real, I'm here. Like going as an attendee, I'm sure it's like, whoa, like, but like working this year, like, fuck, I'm having the opportunity to do this. So I started off at Wastelands. We all love
Yeah.
Wasteland things, but that's kind of like the initiation.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the EDC hazing process.
For sure. But
I've never made it out. No.
But honestly, okay, so we did like these half shifts or partial shifts. So I did Wastelands. I also did Stereobloom. And then Night Stalker actually was doing the base pod one. So I actually had to do 3 different maps, 3 different pixel maps, 3 different show files and cops. So for my first go, it was like these 3 fucking stages, let's go. So I was really excited for that. Like Wastelands, like hardstyle, was like, yeah, it's cool, The Stereo Bloom stage, it's like house, like sometimes a little bit of tech house. Like that map is so wild with like all of the slices and everything. But I love chasers, so I was like perfect for like chasers and outliners. But it was really cool being able to like work with the Wolf guys, like meeting them for their first time on the base pod one. Like it was really cool. Like the stage was dope. And like the fact that like that was my first EDC, that fact that like I had to prepare 3 stages, like I was just motivated. Just like I didn't feel like I couldn't do it. And I couldn't believe that I was able to do that. Like fuck, like my first EDC and that. So Chachi really liked, I guess, my energy, my vibe, my looks, and Junior, the lighting guy. So like they talked to Drew personally. Like I think Drew was telling Chachi happy birthday or something, and he was like, "Dude, Bethany," and it's like awesome. Like she's amazing. I was like, he really told him that, and then Drew told me, I was like, "Oh, what the hell? Like, are you serious?" So every time after that, like I was like, okay, like bring her back. Like we want her. So I was like, damn, did I really just become like the person for the Stereo Bloom stage? And but yeah, that was like my first CDC. But like when we do Mexico or when we go out to like Florida, I get to do Stereo Bloom. So like, dude, I can't believe I like locked in this spot. Like ultimately grateful. So yeah, you can see that my first experience is fucking magical.
Yeah, that's crazy. What were you doing to stand out during that time that got you noticed?
I just loved every minute of it. Like smiling, like I'm all like, "What color is next? What color is that?" I'm just like me and Junior, just like we're communicating as a friend of the house. Like we're actually all vibing. You know what I mean? Like there's like a right or a wrong. Like I'm blacking out. I'm letting them like do their thing too, or like I'm like color matching. Like just I don't know. Just I can't say that I was better. I'm just saying that like I just really fucking was passionate and I really loved what I was doing. And I know I was probably more new and like my mapping probably could have been like more like to the T, but I mean everything was really, it was good. It was good enough for them to be happy about it. And then like I said, I had help for the mapping issues because I was new, you know what I mean? So I was like still learning all that, but I just feel like my passion was enough to for me to come back. And so I come back, they changed the design. Like they had this weird like hexagon in the center and like, well, we don't know what to make this. So like, why don't we just like make it an eye? And like this eye mask, we used that and it used up most of the video wall anyway. So it was just like, it's an honor to have like an opinion for this. And like, I'm like part of the show and like I'm part of the show every time. So I don't know, man, like I did something right.
Yeah, definitely. No, I think that's a big point. I'm sure all the technical things and the way things looked were amazing. But what matters even a little bit more is just like being present and active and involved and fun to work with for the other people on the crew. Like
yeah,
that's what makes a show magic. It's like being in a band.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you can shred if you like can't jam, you know?
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, like, Stereobloom is a pretty complicated stage with all those damn slices, you know?
Yeah, that stage
And like
is fucked up.
the wings to like, you know, like you had to put a lot of love in it before. You know, that's what I mean about programming. Like, you really have to take your time for like programming, especially for that stage, to make everything just crisp, you know, or just the alignment is so correct. Or it was even like two outputs, and you had like some of the strips here, and the wings are like kind of partial. So you just really had to take your time to make sure the mapping and everything fit correctly. Like, it reminds me of Tetris. Like, you got to make sure this fits like where it needs to go. And I don't know, but that's just like the joy of VJing. Like, I love all of these like things, the coordinates, the X, the Y axis, all of that stuff. I'm like nerding out about it.
Yeah. Can we get a little bit nerdy? Like, that stage in particular has a ton of like little skinny strips and like weird things that like
Yeah.
that a lot of content doesn't necessarily work for immediately. Do you have any like little tricks or like fun techniques that you use to make that stage work that you can think of off the top of your head?
So off the top of my head, I noticed like logos are probably weird. So like I would do like the logos like in the centerpiece, like the eye. I think one year we had like a DJ booth too. So it's like, yeah, that or there, or even like on like not the strips, but like the cylinders on the outside or the wings back then.
Yeah,
like
the
or
little
just,
pedal things around.
yeah, placing like the logos out there too. So it's like utilizing that, or just like I like to put like a head or like a full whatever image on the upstage wall, do some like abstract stuff like on the strips, and then so I can do up to like 3 or 4 different looks depending. Like we have like a booth on the very top, like a header. So it just really depends on like your positioning for that, like stage flow looks. But I mean, when you look at it, if you look at it enough, you know where to place the pieces. So, and I haven't had any problem with that, and I feel like I've had some compliments, especially on mapping what goes where. But yeah, it's just a lot of abstract stuff on the strips too, or the Insomniac branding, or like the Stereobloom stuff. So it just, you gotta look at it right.
Just fucking look at it, dude.
Look at it.
Duh. Just make it look good.
Yeah, make it look good.
It's kind of what it boils down to. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Have you worked on? Yeah, you haven't worked on that one yet, have you? Or maybe back in the day.
Stereobloom, I don't think I've done the new design of it.
Yeah.
I've only done the previous one.
Okay.
From a couple years ago. But I mean, it's not a ton different as far as like the structure of it.
Yeah.
Sure, there's like details that are different, but yeah, it's a wild octopus of a stage. It's really really interesting. What happened after that? You're part of the Immanent team. You're coming out on these big gigs, EDC, things like that, gaining a little bit of traction.
Yeah.
What else happens? Are there any other like level up moments along the way over the last couple of years?
Starting off, okay, so I picked up 12 Planet. Ro was doing like Tyler the Creator, so I was like, cool. Like Drew was like, how bad do you do 12 Planet? I'm like, I don't know, show control, I'm still in there. And they're like, you'll learn it, you got this. Like Drew has just always had this trust in me, like, I got it. But all right, I got it. Like, I have no choice. So I did a couple of like sessions with show control, like setting it up with the 2 focus rights, and like, you know, being able to like know SMPTE and SMPTB, like your channels, all of this, and like doing like your differences, like whatever delays there are, and like just making sure like that's on point. And just so I learned it, and like I, knock on wood, I haven't messed up like a show. Like I was always able to hook up and do all that. Like I had a My Bad probably like a Bullseye with like such time coded show, because I was using like the Audio 4Cs now. So Audio 4Cs I'd recommend, because it's just like the one strip, like boop boop, channel 7, 8, and there you go. You don't have to do the double like focus rights. So it's been so long, and I was like, oh shit, like I just figured out it really quickly. But starting off, like I was always nervous. I can't believe I'm fucking doing this. I'm so new at VJing. Like I gotta worry about mapping like these venues, like sometimes they give you these maps or coordinates and it doesn't match up. I don't know what happens at venues. So you gotta worry about that and worry about like a show controlled all time coded show. But I think that was a very important stepping stone. And as a VJ, if you're new or if you're old, like everyone should be able to learn like and utilize show control and like time coding stuff. So I feel like that was a huge stepping stone for me. And Kill the Noise too. Kill the Noise has clips like that for his show. So I was touring with Kill the Noise when he needs like a VJ for like these big festivals. So yeah, those are pretty big highlights, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I want to ask you about this because this is a really unique opportunity that you have had. You are probably the valedictorian graduate of Romario VJ Bootcamp. I don't think anybody has been able to download as much information out of that dude as you have. Yeah. What is Romario VJ Bootcamp like? How can I sign up? give us some lessons, some warnings, some words of wisdom. I don't know.
Words of wisdom. Okay. So I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I feel like I'm so good because like I got drilled so hard. Like he's very tough. He's very serious at what he does, dude. He's like, you make a mistake. No, all wrong. I feel like I was like with my grandpa back in the day where he's like teaching me math in school and shit. He's all, that's the wrong answer, you moron. You know, it's like, but I was like, can you be nicer? Like, I am new at things, so like, but yeah, it was tough. It had its moments, but I feel like he was an excellent teacher. You know, like I know what I know today, but like it was a good stepping stone for me to like get out there. And I'll add that like I'm my own VJ now, and like I do things kind of differently, and we kind of butt heads now. It's like, oh, I do it this way. I do it this way. Well, I'm not you, so. But starting out, I mean, it was interesting. It was fun. Like he is a good person, but he's very serious about what he does. Like, so I think it's cool that I learned properly and not learn like just like random and just like half-assing VJ stuff or whatever. Like I feel like I'm just as passionate and we're both equally passionate. So I think I was a good student too. I'm a pretty good listener and it takes some time, but I pretty much understand everything too. But yeah, if you want to get yelled at, slapped around, no, just kidding. But he's very fucking serious, so.
Yeah. I only bring that up because like I think that's an opportunity that a lot of people wish they had, is like to know a VJ that's good and takes it seriously and is willing to teach.
Yeah, I think I'm lucky.
If anybody's able to find that along the way, find a friend that does this stuff, like that's a way that a lot of us figured out how to do this, and it helps open doors. And if somebody teaches you something, they tend to vouch for you also.
I think so, yeah.
It's a really good strategy for getting in and getting good. Yeah, I think that's like the secret, the unlock. If you can do it, it's hard to do.
Yeah, I'm just grateful that like I've done my gigs around like I consider you a legend. Like you're a legend. So like I've worked some gigs with you, like Jake. Like I said, I've been around like Shane, like all of these really amazing CJs and just really talented, like doing headliner shit. And I'm just the fact that like I was brought up with you guys. I feel like I have big shoes to fill. Like these are really big shoes to fill. And like I want to be just as good as you guys. Like I want to fucking knock it out, you know, or just, the opportunity. Like I'm very grateful for this. Like so crazy how this all happened, you know, but like I'm so grateful to work with legends. It's crazy.
Hell yeah. Finding a way to be around people that are better than you at something.
Yeah.
At the beginning, I mean, I think you're better than me at VJing now, but
no.
But I suck, dude. What are you talking about? But anyway, the like that shows you good habits. It shows you what's possible.
Yeah, definitely good habits.
Because I learned, I didn't have this, right? Like I learned in a vacuum for the first couple of years.
Yeah.
Like the internet didn't have videos about this shit really.
Yep.
I just like got Resolume and played around in my bedroom for like 2 years. And the first time I played out in public was atrocious. You know, like compare that to your like first year in this, and you can see the difference of like being in the right environment when learning this stuff. It's really, really key.
Yeah.
I will not post a video of my first set in public. Maybe someday, but it's really bad. Yeah, you can tell that I learned alone in my bedroom.
That's okay.
A lot of people do that, but
yeah, fucking around. Like that's how you like get somewhere, just fucking around with it, you know?
Yeah, no, it is, and that part is important too, to become your own, discover your own weird ways of doing things. But if you want to learn fast, find a crew, go with them. So what happened after all of that? This last year, I think especially, has been pretty cool. You've got to travel all over the world and do some pretty amazing shows. What has that been like for you? And what are the things that you like love about VJing? It's a crazy question, but just to gush on us about how cool your life is.
Okay, so like it just seems like all of a sudden, like all this has happened, and like I even got my passport probably even a year before all of this, because I was like, yeah, like never thought about traveling and never thought about like obviously within the States, but just like going across the world and going to these places where I've seen on like National Geographic or like a magazine or like the Discovery Channel, like this place is fucking like real. So we had opportunities with Rolling Louds, like going to Germany, like Munich, Germany was like amazing, like Thailand, Rolling Loud Thailand. So like, I feel like that was probably one of my favorite places. Like just seeing the different lands, like eating this food that I love, and like going to the origin of this place and like the food. Like that's my favorite part of DJing. It's probably the food I get to eat. To be real. Like I know we saw like tigers and stuff, so I just like being able to experience like these cultures like firsthand in all of these senses. I'm just ultimately grateful for that. So like tiger smell is my new favorite smell now. Like it's like that you don't know until like you're around tigers. But yeah, these travels, doing Singapore, the F1 in Singapore was really like holy crap, dude. Like I love cars, I love racing, like the Formula One. Now we get to do a freaking concert here, like super highlights of just like being a VJ. Like I know it's rough to go like to the airports or getting red-eye flights or like the time changes and stuff, but like you know, it comes with the job, and like you get accustomed to all these things. But I just think that and meeting artists, and like I became friends with some of these artists, which is cool. So like the connections, like the networking, like all these amazing people you get to see. Like I had a funny story, like I was walking in front of Shaquille O'Neal at EDC, and like he's a really tall dude, and I'm trying to like run in front of him, and his strides are so long, like my head bumps off his belly, like turn around and try to take pictures, and so I was like, poop, like it's a funny story, dude. Or like a really cool, like I feel like Hades is cool, like Svdden Death, like my first conversation with Danny from Svdden Death, like we're talking about service animals at the airport, is like, yeah, my service animal would be vulture. Like just meeting these people, and like the people, you know, like so like these really cool little moments, just random little moments are amazing. So I mean, VJing wise, like doing these really amazing concerts or all of these amazing builds that came out of like people's ideas, like making it happen, or just one of my dreams was like Svdden Death, like Shane couldn't do something, so I was able to VJ for Svdden Death at like in Albuquerque. Is so cool. Albuquerque was like a really cool place to be. It's random, you know. So like Klangkuenstler is from Germany, and like I kind of couldn't do that show, and I was like, dude, it was kind of last minute. I was like, dude, I'm super down. So I marathon VJ'd for like 7-8 hours in his warehouse for Klangkuenstler, but like they're super particular. But I felt like I executed that. Like I didn't leave once for the bathroom. I didn't leave to eat or like they gave me a drink. Like I don't think I had a sip of water, dude. Like I was just in it for 7 to 8 hours straight VJing. Like these moments are so wild, you know, like these days it's all dreams. It's all seems like a dream to me still.
Yeah, man. It is crazy.
Yeah. Or just meeting everyone from different parts of the world. Like the wolf guys are super sick and they're just different part of the world, or like everyone that's like European or whatever, just like these accents, like we're all at random places, but we all do the same job, pushing buttons and shit, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. These experiences, I'm super grateful for.
I think it's easy for some of us to just like get a little grumpy about the nitty gritty details of like life on the road and doing all this stuff. Like, where does this wide-eyed wonder about all this stuff come from?
Dude, I mean, like, yeah, I get moments where I get tired, but I'm just always grateful. Like, I'm so grateful. Like, I came from a small town, like, I came from the desert, and, like, I'm not saying anything bad about it, but just, like, it's just rough because, like, I could say that, like, I've experienced a lot of, like, violence in the streets, like, or around school, like, stuff like that, like, it was rough. It was, like, a little bit rough, you know, like, back then, I didn't get to eat awesome food all the time. Like, it just the way it was. And I think I'm just so grateful because I can do this, or I can eat awesome food, and I can travel, and I can afford like to do this stuff, or it's part of the job that you get to just travel. And I think that it's a real change for me because where I started from, and like this is me now. And I won't get into details, but it's like I want to be able to provide my son like a super sick ass life than what I had. And I'm not knocking my parents or anything, but I'm just saying that like, damn, dude, like I get to get him sushi and stuff. Like I don't think I ate sushi as a kid ever. But like they eating sushi, like I don't know, I want to get him his passport, and like I want him to travel. But the fact that I can afford this and pay for him, like I'm just really grateful. And it's just my life did a whole 360. This is so different than just like, you know, things that I've seen growing up.
Yeah. Wow. And the fact that it's like such a job that shouldn't really be a real job. It's like, so cool. It's like this.
It's still a job though, but yeah.
Job should not be this fun and crazy and cool. Yeah. Feels like winning the jackpot. Let's do a quick rapid fire round, and then we'll do some words of wisdom for the world. A message to leave the viewers with. Do you have a favorite MIDI controller that you've been using lately?
I don't know where it is. It's like a mini launch pad. I think it's like Launchpad 2 or something. John Baker actually was using it, and we accidentally took it back. And I was using it for like pacers and outliners. I was like, I love this little thing because I like the MIDI fighter, you know, like the 4x4. But this one was really cool because of like the lights. So probably that one would be my favorite controller.
Nice. Yeah, that's a good little compact, a lot of buttons. What's your favorite stock effect in Resolume?
I don't know. I don't use a lot of effects. I like playing with like this, like the subtle stroke. I think a subtle stroke was like pretty effective. Hue rotate is clutch though. Like hue rotate or colorizer, like if you need to hit colors on point. I think those are some of the things that I notice I use a lot.
Yeah, totally. Fully automated, just spinning the hue rotate around, rainbow party mode.
Like I haven't memorized, like, you know, I haven't memorized, okay, up here this or this one, like
that's blue, that's red, that's yeah, hell yeah,
orange over here. Yeah, so I feel like I have that memorized.
Nice.
So cool.
Hell yeah. Do you use any like generators, any Resolume generator sources? So there's only a few of them, but
I've been playing with like the feedback. So that's pretty cool. Like when the time calls for it. I like doing a circular gradient. Like obviously it can be red or any color, but I like doing a circular gradient, and then whatever content I have above it, like putting it at a 50 subtract. So when it pulses, you see the image, but it's black. So it has like kind of a dark ominous thing. So I've been kind of using that a lot with like cool stuff. So I think that's one of my favorites. And I did a whole VJ show with just the sources from like I VJ'd from like just lines and manipulating it and stuff. Like we didn't have any, we could have used the stock stuff, but I was like, let's just VJ with the sources. So I did that for a whole show.
Nice. Hell yeah.
So that was fun.
Yeah. The lines, underrated. You could play a whole show with lines.
Yeah, they're like whatever circular stuff, like all of that. Like there's just different ones. Like the little meta balls are cute too. Like
like little meta balls. Sick. Outside of stock Resolume, do you have any plugins or other little like secret sauce add-on little things? What's your secret?
I don't have a secret, but when playing with camera looks, like there's some like juice bar stuff, or like even with notch. I'm not playing with notch builder, but like I feel like those are fun for like camera looks and stuff too, or like the metallic kind of thing with the cameras and just playing with like the colors. I don't know. I think those are fun for like camera looks too. So, but I don't really use like mesh draw. Like I don't use like stuff like that. But I mean, like Chaser's cool too. I fucking love Chasers. And the outliner, animated outliners, the beta.
Oh yeah. Watch out for Chaser 4, everybody. It's gonna be a banger. I don't know if we can talk about that, but
I'm sorry.
It should be coming out pretty soon, so
I know people are like, when I show them like this, they're like, "What is that?" I'm like, "You're not allowed to have it." Sorry.
Yeah. So to wrap it all up, if you could give one piece of advice or message or word of warning or an omen from the depths of whatever, to people who are watching this who might be trying to get into the industry or just starting out, what would you say to them?
Patience, trial and error. So like you may do a map, you may have everything for your looks, you might have to redo it, and you might have to redo it, and you might have to redo it. Like it's just something that's gonna happen. So if you're upset, you have all your stage full legs, you gotta redo this map and start from scratch. It happens. So like just going with the flow. I have a plan A, plan B, plan C, making sure that you always have something to make the show go on, That's what would be my advice. Just be patient.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Bethany, and thank you, little horchata over there.
Thank you for coming on the show.
This has been great. Where can people find more information or maybe get in touch with you on the interwebs?
So I'm not super big on the interwebs, but you can find me under my name on Facebook, and then on Instagram I'm XXSOUR_. So I'm Sour on IG. Yeah, that's about it. No
Hell
Twitter.
Yeah. Holla at your girl. Find her in front of house. Stereobloom. All right. Hell yeah.
So yeah, dude, thanks for all your hard work and like doing these things. Like I feel like you do so well and your videos are sick. Like everyone needs you. Shit. Everyone's like, "Oh, what's the most video? What's the most video?" Like, yeah, you shall, you must.
Well, thank you. I do appreciate that. It is it's more work than it should be for the joy of helping people. It is fun though. I do like it. It's I love these interviews because I get to hear all my friends' stories and learn things from people. Like I always get a little piece of advice and things like that out of these. So it's fun. I enjoy it. Yeah, good times. That was a cool chat.
Oh yeah, dude.